Let me introduce you now to one of the most powerful forces for success ever. Discovered a principle that can multiply your ability, sharpen your mind, and open doors you could never open alone. That principle is called the mastermind. What is it? It is the deliberate alliance of two or more minds, working in perfect harmony toward a definite purpose. When you join your mind with others, when you align your thoughts, your energy, and your will around a shared goal, something extraordinary happens. You create a third, invisible mind greater than the sum of the individual minds, which begins to think, reason, and create on its own. It is as if a whole new intelligence comes alive, one that sees possibilities no single man could see alone. Here's why this matters to you. No matter how smart, skilled, or determined you are, you cannot achieve great success entirely by yourself. You will need others not just to help you work, but to help you think. Your mind, powerful as it is, has limits. It sees through the lens of your own experience, your own habits, your own fears. But when you add another mind and then another, and they work in harmony with yours, the horizon widens. New ideas emerge. Blind spots are revealed. Solutions appear that you never would have imagined on your own. But here's the catch. This only works when the minds are in harmony. You cannot simply throw a group of people into a room and expect a mastermind to appear. If there is conflict, jealousy, doubt, or distrust, the power dissolves. The mastermind requires trust. It requires respect. It requires that everyone involved put aside personal ego and focus on the shared purpose above all else. Now let me tell you a secret. Every great fortune, every great movement, every great invention you've ever admired was born from a mastermind. No great leader in business, in politics, in any field succeeded alone. They surrounded themselves with others who brought knowledge they lacked, strength they did not possess, and vision that expanded their own. When Andrew Carnegie built his steel empire, he credited his success not to his own intelligence, but to his ability to assemble and harmonize the minds of men more skilled than himself. When Henry Ford revolutionized manufacturing, it wasn't his hands that built the assembly line, it was his mastermind alliance that conceived and perfected it. And you, if you wish to sell your way through life at the highest level, must build your own mastermind. It may begin with just one other person who believes in you, who challenges you, who pushes you to grow. But over time, it can grow into a circle of influence so strong that no obstacle can withstand it. So here is your first step. Decide today that you will no longer walk this path alone. Begin to look for those whose minds can complement yours, whose skills can fill your gaps, whose vision can enlarge your own. Because when you find them and when you work together in harmony, you will unlock a power greater than anything you could ever muster on your own. That is the power of the mastermind, and it is waiting for you to claim it. Now that you understand what the mastermind is and why it's essential, let me show you how to begin building your own. The first step is clarity of purpose. A mastermind cannot form around confusion. If you don't know where you're going, no one will follow you, and those who try won't know what direction to take. So ask yourself, what is it you truly want to achieve? What is the definite, specific aim you're willing to dedicate your energy and invite others to dedicate theirs to accomplish? Once your aim is clear, it becomes your beacon. It attracts the right people to you, and it repels the wrong ones, because people are drawn to certainty. They want to follow someone who knows where he's going. The second step is to choose wisely. Not everyone belongs in your mastermind. In fact, the wrong person can do more harm than good. You must look for people who complement your strengths, not simply mirror them. If you're a visionary, find someone who is practical. If you're cautious, find someone who is bold. If you're skilled in selling, find someone skilled in planning. But above all, choose people of integrity. A mastermind cannot function without trust. If jealousy, suspicion, or dishonesty enter the group, its power dissolves. The third step is to establish harmony. This is more than simply getting along. It means that everyone must put the collective goal above their own ego. Arguments over credit, over who's right and who's wrong, these poison the mastermind. But when everyone agrees that the success of the group comes first, the alliance becomes unstoppable. The fourth step is to meet regularly. A mastermind cannot exist in theory only. You must come together consistently in person if possible to share ideas, challenges, and victories. These meetings feed the spirit of the group and keep everyone aligned. And the fifth step is to be willing to give as much as you take. Some men approach the mastermind as if it were only there to serve them. But the true power comes when every member is committed to the success of every other member, not just his own. When you contribute your ideas, your encouragement, your effort to help others, they will do the same for you. Let me warn you of one more thing. You will not build a powerful mastermind overnight. It takes time to find the right people. It takes patience to earn their trust. It takes humility to listen and wisdom to lead. But once you've built it, once you've surrounded yourself with minds aligned in harmony, focused on a definite goal, you will possess a force so great that few men can even imagine it. So start today. Write down your aim. Think about who you know that could help you reach it, and whom you could help in return. Take the first step toward them. Extend your hand, share your vision, and invite them to join you. Because no man climbs far alone, and every great success story begins with the words, "We." That is the essence of the mastermind, and it is yours to create. Now let me show you how the mastermind not only multiplies your power, but also protects you from one of the greatest dangers in life, isolation. You see, many men make the mistake of trying to climb the mountain of success alone. They convince themselves they don't need anyone, that asking for help is weakness, that no one else can understand their vision. And at first, this illusion may even feel like strength. They grind, they hustle, they refuse to listen. But sooner or later, they hit a wall, a problem too big to solve alone, an obstacle too heavy to move alone, a failure too painful to bear alone. And that's when the man who has no mastermind begins to crumble. Here's why. Your mind, powerful as it is not enough by itself. Your ideas are limited by your experience. Your perspective is clouded by your emotions. Your energy is drained when you carry every burden alone. But when you are part of a mastermind, you never face a problem alone. You never carry the full weight alone. You never depend entirely on your own limited vision because you have others watching your back, lifting you up, seeing what you cannot see. Let me give you an example. Imagine a man walking into a negotiation with a client. Alone, he must rely solely on what he knows and what he feels that day. But if he is part of a mastermind, he walks in armed with insights he couldn't have discovered on his own strategies, encouragement, even warnings about hidden risks, all because his allies shared their wisdom with him beforehand. Or consider a man facing a personal setback, a loss, a failure, a moment of doubt. Without a mastermind, he may spiral into fear, indecision, and defeat. But with a mastermind, he has others to remind him of his worth, to help him stand again, to light the path forward when he cannot see it himself. That is the quiet strength of the mastermind. It makes you stronger in your successes and steadier in your struggles. But you must nurture it. Do not expect others to carry you without your own contribution. You cannot just take from the mastermind, you must give. Bring your ideas, your energy, your encouragement to the table. Celebrate others' wins as much as your own. Stand with them in their failures as they stand with you in yours. Because the more you pour into your mastermind, the more it pours into you. Here's what I want you to remember today. No man, no matter how brilliant or determined, can see the whole picture alone. No man can weather every storm alone. And no man can reach the highest peaks alone. So, if you have been walking this road alone, stop. Lift your eyes. Look for those who share your vision, who match your spirit, who are willing to fight beside you. Extend your hand to them. Offer your strength. And together, build a force that cannot be shaken no matter what comes your way. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. And that is the enduring power of the mastermind. Now let me take you one step deeper. Because the mastermind is not just about solving problems or sharing burdens. It's about creating something bigger, something you could never create alone. Synergy. You see, when two or more minds come together in perfect harmony, something almost magical happens. Ideas begin to spark that none of you would have thought of on your own. Solutions appear as if from nowhere. The combined energy of the group becomes a force greater than the sum of its parts. That is the true gift of the mastermind. It doesn't just add power to your efforts, it multiplies it. Let me explain it this way. One man can push a cart up a hill. Two men can push it twice as far. But three men working in rhythm, thinking, moving, and breathing as one can move it 10 times farther than any of them alone. Why? Because their effort is not simply added together, it's amplified by their shared intention and harmony. Here's what happens in a mastermind that makes this possible. First, you borrow courage from each other. When one man begins to doubt, the others remind him of the vision and give him strength. No single man needs to carry all the confidence because the group itself becomes a source of faith. Second, you borrow imagination from each other. Where your mind sees limits, another sees opportunity. Where you see failure, another sees a stepping stone. This exchange of perspectives ignites creative solutions that would never emerge in isolation. Third, you borrow discipline from each other. When one man begins to slacken, the others hold him accountable. When you're tempted to quit, the group keeps you moving. And fourth, you borrow energy from each other. On the days you feel tired, discouraged, or beaten, their enthusiasm lifts you. On the days they stumble, your energy lifts them. This is why harmony is so critical. Without it, the energy leaks away. Ego, jealousy, and conflict poison the well. But when the group is united, when everyone is focused on the same purpose, the power grows with every meeting, every conversation, every shared success. Here's the key lesson. The mastermind does not merely help you succeed, it transforms you in the process. It stretches your mind, strengthens your character, and shows you what you're truly capable of when you stand with others. So I challenge you to seek out those who can create this synergy with you. Not just people who agree with everything you say, but people who challenge you, inspire you, and push you to think bigger. Invite them into your vision. Offer your support in theirs. And commit to protecting the harmony of the group above any single ego. Because once you experience the full power of a true mastermind, you'll never again settle for walking alone. You'll understand that together, you don't just add strength, you unlock a force that can move mountains. That is the essence of the mastermind, and it's yours for the making. Now, let me show you how the mastermind shapes not only your results, but also your character. Because this principle does more than help you achieve external goals. It also molds you into the kind of person worthy of those goals. You see, the man who surrounds himself with great minds cannot help but become greater himself. And here's why. First, the mastermind teaches humility. When you sit at a table with others who are stronger than you in certain areas, you are reminded that no man has all the answers. You learn to listen. You learn to value the wisdom of others. And you discover that true strength lies not in pretending to know everything, but in knowing who to turn to when you don't. Second, the mastermind teaches discipline. When you commit to a group, when others count on you to show up, contribute, and deliver, you are far less likely to drift. The accountability of a mastermind sharpens your habits and keeps you aligned with your purpose. Third, the mastermind teaches generosity. You begin to see that success is not a scarce resource. When you help others win, you do not lose, you multiply the chances of your own victory. In lifting others, you rise. Fourth, the mastermind teaches resilience. When you stumble, and you will, the group reminds you of your strengths and helps you stand again. And when others fall, you find strength in offering your hand to them. These lessons forge a character that inspires trust, earns respect, and draws opportunities to you. Now let me warn you of something. The mastermind does not tolerate selfishness for long. The man who enters only to take, who hoards ideas, who seeks to outshine rather than uplift, finds himself pushed to the margins or out of the group entirely. But the man who contributes freely, who celebrates others' victories as his own, becomes indispensable. And that, my friend, is how the mastermind builds leaders. Because leadership is not about shouting the loudest or standing in the spotlight. It is about creating an environment where others can succeed, and in doing so, proving yourself worthy of success. If you want others to trust you, to follow you, to believe in your vision, start by being the kind of person they can trust, follow, and believe in. The mastermind helps you become that man, not by theory, but by practice. So ask yourself today, Am I willing to humble myself, to listen, to learn, to give? Am I willing to show up consistently, to contribute without keeping score, to put the group's success above my own ego? If the answer is yes, then you are ready to step into the full power of the mastermind. And in doing so, you will not only achieve more than you ever dreamed, you will also become more than you ever imagined. Because the mastermind does not just create results, it creates men worthy of them. Now let me reveal to you another dimension of the mastermind, one that few ever consider: how it strengthens your ability to sell yourself and your ideas to the world. You see, at its core, selling is influence. And influence is not about forcing someone to agree with you, it's about showing them why it's in their best interest to say yes. When you build and participate in a mastermind, you are constantly practicing the art of influence. You are learning to present your ideas clearly. You are learning to listen carefully to others. You are learning to negotiate, to persuade, to inspire, all within a circle of people who challenge you to sharpen your skills. This is no small thing, because the habits you develop inside the mastermind soon extend far beyond it. The same confidence and clarity you use when speaking to your group will carry over into your conversations with clients, prospects, and partners. You will no longer hesitate to share your vision because you've already tested it against sharp minds and strengthened it through their feedback. Here's what happens when you regularly engage with a mastermind. First, you learn how to communicate with power. You can't afford to ramble or speak vaguely when you sit among focused, purposeful people. You learn to get to the point, to back up your words with facts, and to speak in a way that earns attention and respect. Second, you learn how to handle objections gracefully. In every meeting, someone will challenge you. They'll ask hard questions. They'll poke holes in your arguments. And instead of shrinking under pressure, you'll learn to welcome it because it makes you sharper and more persuasive. Third, you learn how to read people. When you're in the habit of watching others, closely noticing what excites them, what worries them, what motivates them, you develop an instinct for what to say and how to say it. Fourth, you learn how to inspire trust. When you consistently show up prepared, contribute valuable ideas, and keep your word, others begin to see you as reliable. And reliability is the foundation of influence because people don't buy from those they don't trust. This is why so many great leaders and salesmen credit their mastermind as their training ground. They didn't just use it to build plans, they used it to build themselves. So here's the lesson for you. If you want to sell more, whether it's a product, an idea, or yourself, start by selling yourself to your mastermind. Prove yourself there. Win their respect. Hone your message. Refine your delivery. And when you step outside that circle, you'll find yourself speaking with a confidence and authority others can't help but respond to. Because the mastermind is not just a place to share ideas, it's a forge where your influence is sharpened, tested, and strengthened. And the man who masters influence in that circle can master it anywhere. Now let me take you even deeper into the power of the mastermind, because it doesn't just amplify your influence, sharpen your skills, or multiply your ideas. It also unlocks a level of creativity and intuition you cannot reach alone. You see, when two or more minds come together in harmony, something extraordinary happens, something almost beyond explanation. A third mind is created. An invisible force emerges that begins to think, reason, and imagine at a level none of you could reach individually. This is not just theory, it is an observable fact. When you've sat at a table with a true mastermind, you know exactly what I mean. Ideas flow that no one person in the group could have conceived. Solutions arise as if from nowhere. A problem that seemed impossible an hour ago is suddenly simple, even obvious. That is the creative power of the mastermind, a force that taps into something beyond the limits of your conscious mind. Here's why this matters to you. If you want to succeed at the highest level, you must go beyond logic alone. You must be able to see what others can't yet see, to imagine solutions, opportunities, and strategies that haven't been invented yet. And the mastermind gives you access to that kind of vision. Here's how it works. First, the diversity of perspectives in your group forces your mind to stretch. You hear ideas that challenge your assumptions. You see problems through lenses you'd never have considered. And as your mind stretches to understand and integrate these new viewpoints, it grows more flexible, more creative. Second, the emotional energy of the group lifts you above your doubts. When you're alone, fear and worry can cloud your imagination. But when you're surrounded by others who believe in you and your mission, your mind becomes free to explore, to create, to dream. Third, the shared focus of the group generates momentum. When everyone is locked in on the same purpose, their combined mental energy creates a kind of current, and you are carried farther and faster than you could ever go alone. And fourth, the harmony of the group tunes your mind to a higher frequency. That's when intuition kicks in. That's when you just know what to say, what to do, which direction to move, even if you can't explain how you know. Some call this inspiration. Some call it instinct. Napoleon Hill called it infinite intelligence. Whatever you call it, it is real, and it is available to you through the mastermind. So here is your task. When you build your mastermind, do not just think of it as a place to trade information. Treat it as a sanctuary for imagination. Protect its harmony fiercely, because without harmony, the magic cannot happen. Encourage wild ideas. Celebrate creative thinking. Allow silence when it's needed, because sometimes the best ideas arise in the quiet between words. And most of all, trust the process. Trust that when great minds come together with a common purpose, the answers you seek will come, and often in ways you could never predict. That is the creative and intuitive power of the mastermind. And once you've experienced it, you'll never again doubt its value or walk your path alone. Now let's turn to another gift. The mastermind gives you one that's often overlooked but absolutely vital: emotional strength. You see, success is not just a battle of skill or knowledge. It is, above all, a battle of emotions. Fear, doubt, worry, anger, frustration, these are the enemies that destroy more dreams than any lack of talent or opportunity. And here's the truth. No man, no matter how strong, can always carry the weight of his emotions alone. That's where the mastermind comes in. When you belong to such a group, when you have others around you who believe in you, who see the best in you, even when you forget, you gain a kind of emotional armor. Let me explain how it works. First, the mastermind keeps you steady when fear strikes. On your own, fear can paralyze you. It whispers lies in your ear. You're not good enough. You'll fail. You can't handle this. But when you bring that fear to your group, they remind you of what you've already accomplished, of your strengths, of your vision. And suddenly, what seemed impossible becomes manageable again. Second, the mastermind restores your confidence after defeat. Failure is inevitable. You will stumble, you will lose deals, you will make mistakes. But failure only destroys you if you let it isolate you. When you can bring your wounds to the mastermind, they help you see them for what they really are: lessons, not life sentences. Third, the mastermind protects you from arrogance. Yes, arrogance. Because success brings its own danger, the temptation to believe you no longer need anyone, that you're above mistakes, that you're invincible. But your group, if chosen well, will keep you humble, reminding you that no matter how high you climb, you stand on the shoulders of others. Fourth, the mastermind fuels your enthusiasm. It is hard to stay excited about your goals when you are the only one carrying the flame. But in the company of others who share your vision, who celebrate your wins and dream with you, that flame grows into a roaring fire. And finally, the mastermind teaches you resilience. When you see others in the group endure setbacks, rise again, and keep moving, it inspires you to do the same. You realize you are not alone, and that realization gives you the courage to press forward. So many men fail not because they lack skill, but because they lack emotional endurance. They quit when the weight becomes too heavy. They retreat when the road gets hard. But the man who surrounds himself with a mastermind never carries the weight alone. He draws strength from the group, and he gives strength in return. So here is my advice. Build a group of people who not only challenge your mind, but also steady your heart. People who will stand with you when the storms come, and who will expect you to stand with them too. Because when you walk with a mastermind, you no longer fear the emotional highs and lows of the journey. You know you can endure anything because you are never enduring it alone. That, my friend, is emotional power, and it is one more reason why no man should ever walk this road by himself. Now, let me share with you something even more profound about the mastermind, something that reaches beyond business, beyond success, and into the very quality of your life. The mastermind elevates your entire environment. You see, one of the greatest truths about human beings is this: you rise or fall to the level of the company you keep. If you surround yourself with small thinkers, you will shrink. If you surround yourself with complainers, you will find yourself complaining. If you surround yourself with the bitter and defeated, you too will begin to feel bitter and defeated. But when you surround yourself with men and women of vision, of courage, of character, you cannot help but rise. This is one of the hidden powers of the mastermind. It forces you to live up to the best within you. Here's how it transforms your environment. First, the mastermind raises your standards. When you watch others working hard, pushing through doubt, achieving results, you begin to expect more of yourself. Mediocrity no longer feels acceptable because excellence has become your new normal. Second, the mastermind sharpens your values. In the presence of honest, ethical, high-minded people, you find it much harder to cut corners, make excuses, or act without integrity. Their example calls you to stand taller. Third, the mastermind expands your vision. When you sit at the table with dreamers and doers, your own dreams begin to grow. You start to see opportunities that once seemed out of reach. You begin to believe that more is possible because you see it happening all around you. Fourth, the mastermind deepens your sense of purpose. When you commit yourself to a group of like-minded people, your goals feel bigger than just you. You feel responsible not just for your own success, but for theirs. That sense of shared mission gives your efforts a deeper meaning. And fifth, the mastermind brings joy to the journey. Let's be honest, the climb to success can be lonely. The late nights, the hard decisions, the weight of responsibility, it can wear you down. But when you walk that road with others who understand it, who cheer you on, who walk beside you, it becomes not just bearable, but enjoyable. So here's the lesson. Success is not just about what you accomplish, it's about who you become and who you become it with. If you want to build a better business, a better career, a better life, start by building a better environment. Fill it with people who make you reach higher, think bigger, and act better. That is what the mastermind does. It creates a circle of influence so strong, so inspiring, so full of possibility that you cannot help but grow into the best version of yourself. And when you do, you'll realize the greatest riches of all are not just found in what you gain, but in who you gain the relationships, the respect, and the shared victories along the way. That is why the mastermind is not just a strategy for success, it is a strategy for living well. And now we come to the final and perhaps most important lesson of all about the mastermind. It is not just a tool you use, it is a way you live. You see, the mastermind is not something you assemble once, use for a while, and then discard when things get good. It is a lifelong habit. It is a principle you carry into every area of your life, because the need for connection, harmony, and shared vision never ends. The greatest men of history, the ones who built empires, led nations, and created innovations that changed the world, all understood this. They did not stand alone. They kept their counsels. They sought wise voices around them, and they guarded the harmony of those alliances as fiercely as their fortunes. Why? Because they knew the mastermind is not just the source of ideas, strength, and strategy, it is also the safeguard against arrogance, isolation, and failure. Even at the very top, the mastermind remains essential, perhaps even more so. Because the higher you climb, the fewer people will tell you the truth. The more tempting it becomes to believe your own press. The easier it is to lose sight of the bigger picture. But when you stay rooted in your mastermind, you always have perspective. You always have someone to challenge you, to steady you, to remind you why you began. Here's the final gift of the mastermind. It ensures that your success is not just big but lasting. Because many can rise quickly through luck, charm, or brute force. But few can stay at the top without the discipline, the humility, and the wisdom that a mastermind instills. So here is my final advice to you. Do not wait until you feel worthy to build your mastermind. Do not wait until you have something to offer. Start where you are. Reach out to one person today, someone whose vision inspires you, whose integrity you respect, whose strengths complement yours. Share your dream. Invite them to join you. Then add another, and another. And truly commit to protecting the harmony of that group, serving its members, and letting it serve you. If you do this, you will not only achieve more than you ever imagined, you will also find that the journey itself becomes richer, more meaningful, and more joyful than you thought possible. Because the mastermind is not just about winning, it is about who you become along the way and who you walk beside as you climb. And that, my friend, is the true power of the mastermind. It takes you farther than you could ever go alone and makes you more than you ever dreamed you could be. So take that step today. Build your circle and discover for yourself the extraordinary strength of many minds working together in perfect harmony.